Josh Smith, one of the biggest rising young stars in the NBA when he first started in this league. I'm willing to bet many of you forgot about him, and to be honest, I don't blame you. He's now out of the league and hasn't played a game since 2017, even though he's only 34 years old. By the time he was done, he was seen as nothing more than a bad chucker who killed the offense on any team he was on. But Smith was at first seen to be a player who was ready to become a versatile star, and even had the nickname LeBron Light. So what happened to his NBA career? What is up with it, everybody? My name is Luke, and in this video, let's talk about Josh Smith and what happened to his NBA career. Josh Smith was drafted in 2004 straight out of high school with the 17th overall pick by the Atlanta Hawks. In high school, he was phenomenal, as in his senior year at Oak Hill Academy, he led the team to a 38-0 record and was rated as the third best player in the nation and the best small forward. As a random fun fact, he played in high school with Rajon Rondo and in AAU with Dwight Howard. The way he was described coming into the draft was as a freak of nature, and that mentally he still needs to progress. He's still learning the game. As mentioned before, some people compared him to LeBron because of his insane athleticism and great physical tools, but weaker fundamentals. He was also not a good shooter, which was something that would come to haunt him later in his career, but we'll get to that in a bit. In spite of these weaknesses, however, it was clear that his athleticism was proof that he was capable to become a great player, and it was just a matter of whether he could develop properly or not. Anyway, when he came into the NBA, he had to switch from playing power forward to mostly small forward, due to him being undersized for a big man, being just 6'9". This was something he wasn't really used to, as in high school, he spent most of his time on offense dominating the paint. He finished his rookie season with respectable averages, 10 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks, and made the all-rookie second team. He would improve his next few seasons, and by his third, he averaged an impressive 16 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, over a steal, and 3 blocks per game, even becoming the youngest player to record 500 blocks. While these stats looked great on face value, the obvious problems with his games already started to show, specifically his shooting. He took a lot of jump shots despite the fact that he was a terrible shooter. For reference, in Atlanta, Smith took about half of his shots from mid-range, but only hit around 33 to 34% of them, which is actually really bad. You could argue that, he should just shoot more in order to get better, which Smith technically did get better, but not enough for him to be a legit threat on the perimeter. Most players in the NBA don't improve their jump shot significantly, and Jay Smooth was no exception. In his third season, where his numbers were solid, he was shooting a horrible 18% from 10 to 16 feet, and 25% from 3, but a solid 60% at the rim, yet he only took 45% of his shots within 3 feet. And that definitely shouldn't have been the case for somebody who is so good at slashing and driving to the basket. This was a trend that continued on for a while, and Smith was really adamant about playing the way that he played. But fast forward to the 2009-10 season, and Smith had what was probably the best season of his career. He averaged 16 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.6 steals, and 2 blocks per game, while also being named to the NBA All-Defensive Second Team. More importantly though, he took fewer shots from outside and more inside, with 55% of his shots coming at the rim, and he hit them at a 66% rate. As a result, he managed a career high at the time in true shooting percentage, at 54%, which was pretty good for the time. The Hawks also won 53 games that season, which was the highest number since Smith was drafted. But after that, he came back down to earth and started shooting more just like he did in the past, taking only 31% of his shots at the rim the following season, which is even fewer than when he first started in the league. To be fair, he did get a little bit better at shooting threes and even in mid-range, but he still wasn't very good, and definitely should have stuck to his strengths in attacking the basket more. His counting stats were still great, but he was obviously much worse than what those numbers said. After a few more years, the Hawks realized that Smith was not worth keeping, as he was a detriment on offense, and in the 2013 offseason, decided to not keep him. So Smith instead signed with the Detroit Pistons on a 4-year, $54 million deal. and immediately people knew that it was going to be a horrible fit. When you place Smith with two big men who couldn't shoot in Andre Drummond and Greg Monroe, you know that's going to be a floor spacing disaster. His first season there, he still put up decent counting numbers, but took about 3/4 of his shots from outside 3 feet, and Smith finished the season with an atrocious 46 true shooting percentage. About a third of the way to the next season, Smith's play was so bad that the Pistons cut him even though he still had a few years left on his contract. For reference, in the 28 games that he did appear in for Detroit, their offensive rating was 10.5 better without Smith than with. Yikes. After his stint with Detroit, Smith joined Houston, where he had one notable game. Game 6 of the Western Conference semifinals against the Clippers, where he was money from 3 and helped the Rockets come back from a deficit to avoid getting eliminated from the playoffs. Ultimately, Houston took home the series and the Clippers ended up blowing a 3-1 lead. Speaking of the Clippers, he joined them that summer and then got traded back to Houston in the middle of the season. Then he bounced around different leagues, had a 3-game stint in New Orleans, and that was the last time that he played in the NBA. So what went wrong with Josh Smith's NBA career? I'd say it was a combination of him picking up bad habits and never trying to fix them, along with some coaching issues. It was clear that there were some fundamental problems with his game, and if he was just a little less stubborn, he probably would have been in the league for a long time. Personally, I'd say that if Smith just adapted his style to fit his skill set better, he definitely would have been able to become a perennial all-star. But anyway, that does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, hit the subscribe button, and turn on notifications. Let me know what you thought of Josh Smith. Do you think he should have been better? Were there other things that held him back? Was he doomed to fail from the start? And with that, I'm out. See you guys next time.